massive beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. Here's what they found.
Guys, do you hear that fucking bass drop? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some a little bit of debunking, a little bit of deep diving into a topic that I've seen, for the last couple days. All right. Now, you've all seen me upload videos about aliens and conspiracy theories and things like that. But I like to be somebody that goes beyond just looking at a TikTok video like this and going, whoa, this is crazy awesome. Now, I'm somebody that loves to look at that weird side of the world, okay? There's parts of me that wishes every day that aliens would be real, okay? If somebody could prove to me 100% the Earth would be flat, I wouldn't even be mad, okay? I would just be like, you know what? I learned something new. Cool. But generally speaking, I try to get to the truth of every fact that is provided in the entire world of the internet. And, I'm not here to poo on anyone's parade, but I just want to see, are there actually underground cities in the pyramids of Giza? Now, you probably have been seeing this kind of like trend around on the internet. Like if you just looked up the words pyramids right now, for instance, you'd probably read posts like, scientists say they use new tech to find vast city beneath the pyramids. Egyptian archaeologist dispels the claims of city underneath pyramids. So for anybody watching that has no idea what the pyramids of Giza are, this is the actual location. They're located in Egypt. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so you've got the pyramids right over here. You've got the Pyramid of Khafre, which is what we're going to be looking at more closely. The Pyramid of Menkaure. And again, I don't exactly recognize the name of this one, but it's certainly not the Pyramid of Giza. But just off the bat, why are there like 4 driving schools in one area? Anyways, not the point of this. Now, one of the questions that people always ask is, how did we make this? Was it aliens? Was it slavery, most likely? Was it maybe something else back in the day? What is it? Was it a super advanced alien civilization from back then? No, ladies and gentlemen, there have been a lot of people trying to assume how this is being made, and there are actual write-ups. This is from the University of Florida, for instance, where they kind of talk about, again, the building of these pyramid structures. And just to give you the quick TLDR in this, they've basically shown that with rather primitive technology available to ancient Egyptians, the construction of pyramids was quite feasible without outside help, and was accomplished with the use of only ropes, copper tools, sleds, levers, and inclined planes, and of course an almost unlimited supply of Egyptian slavery. There is no need to postulate the need for help from Atlanteans or other nonsense, such as aid from extraterrestrials. Now again, it's up to you to believe this, but from my understanding and research, the construction of the pyramids and the ambiguity around them is mostly due to the fact that there's probably a lot of ways that it could have been achieved. It's just that nobody can really identify what the exact methodology was. Remember, anthropology is a serious study of former human civilization, or rather the study or development of human societies and cultures. Look, things that have happened thousands of years ago, we really don't have a great grasp on, right? It's really only the last 1% of our lifetime, less than that even, that we've actually really cataloged and kept hold of ourselves, right? So understanding our past is something we're still really much trying to do. It's an entire field of study. But I wanted to again assert this right here. As much as I would love for there to be ancient aliens, okay? Sometimes you have to just come back to reality land and deal with actual facts and research. Now, a couple days ago, Joe Rogan was actually showing an entire video and talking about this on his podcast. And, sometimes I'll flip on the old Joe Rogan Experience just to read about aliens and shit like that. And, when I was watching this, he kind of was watching this with his guest, obviously. This one video that was floating around on Twitter or whatever, right? And obviously, I wanted to deep dive into it. And obviously, this started trending to the point where multiple other channels were producing these videos. This is one channel, Casper site, that was focusing on this as well, looking at various amounts of people on TikTok covering this entire scenario. And again, this is an incredibly popular topic that just basically came out of nowhere the last couple days. I mean, dude, I love TikTok. You can just go on here right now and just see a whole bunch of these underground city TikToks. So many of them have just complete AI slop thrown into it, dude. Energy machine under the... if you're somebody that enjoys discovering conspiracy theories like this, I think TikTok might be the greatest platform for you. Honestly, that's really all I have to say about it. So, all right, where did this research and imagery come from, okay? So again, one actual article posted March 22nd, 2025, Egypt's Giza pyramids mystery deepens. Radar finds underground structures twice as deep as the Eiffel Tower, stretching across 2 kilometers. Okay. All right. So, what happened over here? Scientists have discovered a large underground structure near the pyramids of Giza using radar technology. So here they got researchers, Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi from the University of Strathclyde used synthetic aperture radar to scan the area. Okay, so that's the technology they're using. Their findings reveal a network extending approximately 2 kilometers beneath all 3 pyramids. So really what they said over here was the Khafre pyramid, so the second largest structure right there, was found to have 5 identical structures near its base. These structures contained multiple levels and were connected by geometric pathways. Beneath these pathways, 8 vertical cylindrical wells were discovered. Each well was surrounded by descending spiral pathway reaching depths of up to 648 meters. So this is the video that I guess Joe was watching on his entire page by Greg Reese, okay? So a SAR scan of the Khafre pyramid. So this I guess is one of the sources, right? Oh wow, we start off with some real good starts off with a banger of a soundtrack, that's for sure. So I'm looking through this and it's just again, an actual organization of people meeting up. They're actually having this real I guess event where they're discussing the findings over here, right? And again, the further you go down, this is where some of those images started popping up. So for instance, these are the cylindrical wells that are allegedly found underneath the pyramids of Giza. And again, at the end of it, they start to link this to Nikola Tesla and Egyptian pyramids, which again references books like The Giza Power Plant by Christopher Dunn, which again is more focusing on esoteric conspiracy theories than anything actually proven in science over here. So at this point, I'm all right, they showed this right over here, this remote sensing MDPI article right here. So, okay, this has got to be crazy. There's got to be some new information. So again, the basic fact checker in me will take that entire title and I will search for it on the internet. And lo and behold, here we are. Synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography reveals details of undiscovered high-resolution internal structure of the Great Pyramids of Giza. Okay, so you got Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga. Okay, so you've got all this shit right here. And then, of course, you start to look closer into this. Published 19th October 2022. So this is not new information. This is fucking 3 years old. All right, let's pull out the PDF. Okay, roll the clip, Jamie. Let's look at it. So right here, you've got the actual post, 1st August 2022. All right, introduction. The Pyramid of Khnum-Khufu, also known as the Great Pyramid of Giza. Let me open this up so you guys can read it a little bit better. So is the oldest and largest of the 3 main pyramids. Okay, the infrastructure is built with blocks of granite. The completion of the work has taken 2.5 million blocks. So in studying the origin of the pyramids, we believe we should not overlook the existence of ancient mythological writings, a study concerning the myths and folklores of the ancient people of the world, okay, highlighting all the similarities between them. The arguments that myths are insignificant, often considered mere stories passed on through generations, has been challenged. The authors are open to the possibility that a technologically more advanced civilization existed before a known timeline, where the existence of various glacial ages prevented the passing down of history. Focusing on the mythical cities mentioned in ancient Indian text, describing how the subcontinent was the integral part of this, 7 and 8 figure. However, how the Egyptian pyramids were built has remained an enduring mystery. Okay, so immediately right over here, the actual authors are open to the possibility of a technologically more advanced civilization, okay? So in Assassin's Creed terms, that is the ones who come before us, okay? The people that made all of the advanced shit in the before days, okay? It could happen. It could be a reality, but it hasn't been proven, okay? It's just a myth for now. Again, I would be the first person that would be ecstatic at the thought of a ancient advanced civilization that basically ran, super New York back in the day, for instance, right? More advanced than human beings. We just have to have proof of it first, which, as of right now, we unfortunately do not, okay? So going to ChatGPT, for instance, right? I downloaded that PDF file, right? The actual research paper. I threw it into this and I asked ChatGPT, can you read this PDF and explain it to me? And surprisingly, I didn't know ChatGPT could do this, but yes, it actually can read through a paper and summarize it for you. Now, mind you, this is artificial intelligence. It is not an expert in any of these fields, okay? It's just a very advanced algorithm capable of understanding, PDF files and summarizing them in a very adept way for many people to just quickly like dive and research into. So there are going to be some hallucinations, possibly some inaccuracies, but again, generally speaking, it is great to have this technology because when you want to fact check on the fly, it's really difficult, right? This stuff will at least make it easier for anybody to throw something in and get a sort of an Eli 5, maybe an Eli 10 version of like what they're reading. So to go down over here, it gives you like 7 key points: problems with the conventional methods of SAR, innovation using their new approaches with vibrations, major discoveries. Conclusion: the research presents a groundbreaking approach to pyramid exploration using SAR Doppler tomography to reveal hidden structures within the Great Pyramids of Giza. So at this moment I asked, I was like, can you tell me more about those internal chambers, the unfound stuff? And it does actually focus, right? It says, hey, previously known structures were the King's Chambers, the Queen's Chamber, the Grand Gallery, the Unfinished Chamber, and the Grotto Void. But the newly discovered stuff was things like 2 large internal ramps, large southern horizontal colliders. So here you can see things like tag 3. So if you copy that, and you go to the actual like PDF file, you can verify and start confirming things for yourself. So if I start throwing in things like tag 3, you can get an idea of like how they use this technology to capture the topographic measurements here. And then they use this to create this 3D model of what appears to be undiscovered areas. Again, none of this is actually a city. None of this are entire cylindrical fucking like rods pointing upwards. It's just new chambers that are undiscovered or maybe rediscovered inside the pyramids. So again, for many people who are regurgitating this, it feels like most of the people talking about this, most of the news agencies aren't really actually looking at the actual like research paper at all, which is a little baffling to me, right? Like to post this kind of information and just constantly spread it around without actually verifying that the paper you're looking at is not even like a recent paper. It's from 2022. Why is it being shared all of a sudden out of nowhere? So even looking closer into it, like the closest I could find the relation of these like images to these scientists was on something known as the Khafre project, right? And this apparently was in the 15th March 2025. This press release was supposed to come out, sometime recently, but it just hasn't seemed to have come out recently, okay? It just hasn't seemed to appear at all. There's this press conference with these images and updated findings. So I tried to find out where this press conference was, and every single conspiracy page that I was going to could link everything except that press release. So one user asks, hey Greg, it's inauthentic to not link that March 15, 2025 press release that you mentioned in the video. And Greg's like, I read the release and showed it. You didn't. You showed the 2022. So, all right, when some asshole says, do your own research, all right, I will do my own research. So this moment I went to like Grok. Now, I'm using multiple tools of AI. Also, just because it's good to use multiple different tools and sources. But also, a lot of these AIs have cool tools like deep search, right? And in terms of Grok, they have this deeper search, which is a super extended version of the search. So I go to the search and say, can you find me that March 15 press release regarding the cities located underneath the pyramids of Giza? So immediately Grok, and if you want to know what like madness and insanity looks like, right? Grok does this 13-minute long search. I want you to understand the AI is like absolutely scouring every single source it can find through multiple different search engines on the internet just to find this. So this is kind of the equivalent of like your internet investigator doing like a month worth of research and scouring the internet, all done within 13 minutes, okay? AI is crazy in some capacities. So here it basically identifies what I'm asking, which is this press release by Corrado Malunga and Filippo Biondi, claiming an underground complex underneath Giza using SAR tech. In fact, the conclusion that the AI actually discovered was that the March 15th press release by the Khafre project claimed the discovery of a vast underground complex beneath the pyramids of Giza, detailing specific structures that could suggest an ancient city. However, the lack of peer-reviewed evidence, expert skepticism, and methodological concerns means that the findings remain unverified and controversial. For researchers and enthusiasts, the ongoing debate underscores the need for further investigations, potentially through excavations, though approval and validation remain uncertain as of March 24th, 2025. One guy claims they have the complete PDF file and they'll be publishing it soon for all to see. That was posted on March 21st, 2025. Promises made, promises kept. A free insight, an article from the exclusive PDF. Bro, just give me the actual fucking like PDF file, dude. So according to that read multiplex, this is the apparent actual PDF file that was found around, okay? So the Coffray project, again, excuse the low resolution over here. And again, this is the abstract summarizes the key points of their research. This is their conference on March 16th, 2025. So after in this PDF, the first step is just looking at their original like 2022 page. And the second step is their second phase of the research. They focused on the radar analysis on the second most important pyramid of the Giza Plateau, the Pyramid of Khafre. The pyramid provides a wealth of data regarding previously unknown internal structures. The tomographic images obtained from the satellite data processing immediately highlighted the presence of 5 structures located at the center of the pyramid, yada yada yada, constructed blah blah. The analysis of these data obtained using entirely non-invasive techniques are briefly summarized below. So these findings allowed us to construct a 3D model of the entire complex, the examination of dozens of tomographic images obtained from different angles. So I guess these are the images right over here, the tomographic images. As observed in the 3D model, below the ground level of the main structure, vertically aligned cylindrical structures extend for hundreds of meters beneath the Giza Plateau. Notably, 8 of these structures arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south. So again, these are the alleged like structures that exist. Now, mind you, the thing about this is nobody has verified any of these like images. In fact, it's kind of the equivalent of like anybody can take this, like anybody can just make images up and just post them out, especially in the world of obviously artificial intelligence. So no, is there any confirmed cities underneath the pyramids? No. And the reality is, look, I would love to be somebody that sees this kind of stuff and I would be like, hey, you know, this is kind of cool. I would want things to be a reality. I love wacky stuff like this. But I think it's important to point out when there is misinformation floating around. It's a lot of people sharing images and like PDF files and like research papers of completely unproven, unpeer-reviewed like, you know, analysis into this like pyramid underground city story. But yeah, honestly, I wanted to look into this because ultimately, I feel it's fun for me to like deep dive into this and like get to the truth of the matter. And I think the truth is there's just no evidence to any of this. And ultimately, this video for me is important because I think I've shown you guys how to also fact check things for yourself. In the world of artificial intelligences and deep search algorithms, I think these tools, these AI tools, are actually quite important when you're trying to combat things like misinformation or trying to understand the truth of any subject. That's just where I kind of stand into it. Again, I'm not here to poo on anyone's parade. I don't think that's really the focal point of this video. That's just really smug behavior for no real reason. I would love there to be like really cool undiscovered shit in the world we live in. But there's a difference between like, you know, there's a flood of information that exists around us every day, like 9 or 10 different news articles, constant arguments against each other. And it's really using multiple sources and tools that are at our disposal to really discern the truth. I think for most people who come across a story, they'll look at this and they'll either believe everything or believe nothing. And nobody will try to ever actually dig into the truth of the matter here. So hopefully you guys maybe learned something out of it. I had fun looking into this, to be real. And if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.